Blam! This is the internet. What is up, everybody? Back again, Warp Charge Gaming. They may not even hear us yet as we're getting acquainted to the internet as things touch things. Actually, we're only on
Internet things.
yeah, we're only on YouTube today, guys.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've been doing that whole YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook at the same time. But right now, I'm just at home. We're chilling. We're having a casual episode 73 here. We do this every Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, we've done it 73 times in a row. So welcome to this episode.
Are we live right now? Because it's showing that we're offline right now.
Is it?
I'm not seeing us.
It might just be taking its sweet time getting there, y'all. We should totally be online.
Oh, fantastic then.
Yeah, heck if I know. Here, I can look too. Yeah, definitely says we're offline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I can see right now. It says receiving your content. Your audience will see it in a moment. Get ready.
Ruh-roh.
Wow.
Starting stream health is yellow.
Oh.
Right now, they should be able to see the same thing on the back end because I'm showing this all on screen. Yeah, well, this is a shaky start. Oh,
I
man.
have no idea. Are we live? Are we not live? That's the world we're living in.
I changed over to the old.
Living half dead.
There are conversations and things to talk about, man.
I know there's like a lot to talk about.
I'm finally seeing the YouTube slate, but it's still not. Still saying we're offline on mine.
Yeah.
I witnessed a 40K game. Like that's something. I didn't play one. I just witnessed one live.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And New Marines, man.
Dude. Yeah, no kidding.
God,
I don't know.
So much talk about. I don't feel like we are on the internet, guys. Oh, I see it. It just went green. Starting stream health is green now. What does that mean? Still says offline.
Am I going to refresh my page and we're live? Am I going to see my face? Oh, no, don't see my face.
This is terrible.
I don't know
what happened was.
Yeah, dude, I think the internet had an illegal vape cartridge and they died.
That's terrible. Maybe I should just turn it off and try to push some buttons and come back again.
Hey, when in doubt, restart.
Yeah, we're closing this out.
3 because of the fact that it requires you to come down the following turn.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're saying because like this wasn't a thing at Nova, so how would they have a ruling on it?
No, because Gene Stealer Cult has the same stratagem.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like almost all of these have almost all of these strats are basically
in this video also.
And so there's a strike from the shadows, which is you can throw units in ambush instead of on the battlefield, and if you do, you can deep strike it.
Yeah, I totally know because like people are talking about deep striking units that can't be deep strike, like Centurions and stuff. Yeah,
but then besides that, there's also a stratagem similar to that. There's also a Raven Guard stratagem that's a blatant ripoff of the Gene Stealer Cult stratagem.
Yeah, I don't know, man. All I know is the reason I shared that one is I can go on a rant about how Alpha Legion has that same strat, and there's this FAQ that they can't do it. And yeah, like they have the exact same strat in the Chaos Space Marine Codex, but it's FAQ'd that all they do is get a 9-inch redeploy.
Oh my god, I think we just went live, dude.
Oh, we're live.
It took like
I see it
forever.
I see it.
Jeez, that was I don't even know how much got caught on the front end. Like maybe it's gonna like DVR its way up into the action there.
No, it literally went to the point where you were like in the presenting phase and left right into the stream. It's not. It didn't play it.
I don't know. What's up, everybody? Back again. Warp Charge Gaming, episode 73. I might have said 70.
That sounds right.
I think it's 73.
It's 73.
Yeah.
It's 73.
Welcome, everyone. We do this every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm here with James
and
Chris.
Not that you can tell based off of this.
Yeah, we're a little late on the go. Sometimes things don't work. Technology. We are always changing it up. I'm kind of the...
Dude, you're not at the command center, bro.
Yep. Yep, I am the maestro on the controls and in different locations and different times. Today I'm at home, and after a long day of gaming, and it's been a long couple of weeks of gaming at Battlegrounds. There, it's been a whirlwind lately of playing games and getting things done. Ever since Nova, I feel like it's just been like nonstop. You know, trying to make that
What
Skrilla
up,
and play them
Chibizo,
games.
Chicken Bone, Matthew?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have an easy visual of the chat quite yet, so yeah, keep us in tune. It's good to have you guys tuned in. Shadiza always the man jumping on.
Chicken
Oh
bone.
yeah, we are there. I missed the chicken bone for a while too. Haven't got to catch you in a minute, man. Good to have you. Very nice. I'm gonna try to get on my phone so I can see this action. But yeah, man, stuff and things. There's so much to talk about, and I don't want to jump into things too early. Let's throw up some picks to get things going. One, I'm gonna throw up the schedule here because just this past weekend we had our Highlander event, and I think for like 3 episodes or longer we've been talking about the Highlander event that we did for War Charge Gaming 40K event. It was a very special
Break
event.
it down for us. How many teams were there?
We had only 2 teams out of 20 people. So there's 20 people, 18 total people contesting against one another, with 2 of those being teams. So yeah, that was a big thought of like what would people do, right? So that was a trip because people didn't do as much teaming as I thought they would, and the ones that did were pretty much like, you know, they were wanting to do well, but they weren't like caring if they did well, you know.
Yeah, they were there to play their buddy.
Yeah,
Wasn't a tactical choice.
yeah, and like they great good times. There one of them did, it was Gene Stewart Cole and Death Watch, which was pretty interesting, and the other one was actually on stream round one, and it was I think that was the Gene Stewart Cole Death Watch. No. I can't remember. I can't remember what my other buddies were playing. It was like Tyranids or Gene Stealers with Chaos. They had like Corn and Gene Stealers. I think it might have been.
Does that sound like our trios team?
It was they were busting off stuff like that. Yeah, there were our Battlegrounds buddies that went and played in the trios as well at Nova. So
Nice.
they took probably one from our book, but it was also just like the convenient loadout for what they had going on too. You know.
Sure.
Yeah, we definitely did well, and hopefully led by.
I mean, we were undefeated.
Yeah, you were anyways.
It's true.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, that was an exciting time, man. Everybody seemed to have a lot of fun. I had a great ass time getting to jump in on the tail end. I actually got some images. I'll show you guys of some of the best painted contestants. This was a beautiful Night Army. We had to give a lot of cred because there wasn't some of the painters. I had to end up getting like 5 judges to come walk these tables because it was so hard. And this one kept being the main choice. This was the runner-up to that. This is by Dean from Field of Fire Gaming with his Dark Angels. A beautiful army. Look great. The display boards were definitely, for any of those guys that go out trying to win Best Painted at an event, a display board is so clutch. And as somebody that's done several painting judging at this point, it definitely is a deciding factor. Like right away, you cut the crop with the display board, you know. And so
I voted for the Dark Angels.
Yeah, respect. They were very good. These painters were commenting that they respected this Knight Army because, well, where it's very simple because it's just knights, but there was a lot of work that went into the layering on this where they said it didn't look like it was airbrushed. I really appreciated how textured the board was, and it's not just like a bunch of rubble on there. There's all these different, I guess they were even noticing the rubble was painted in different varieties and different colors and shades, and it matched the bases of the army. So there was a lot of love in this.
I agree. Continuity is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was really funny, though, and you can't give it much justice in this picture, but a lot of the flame effects and whatnot, or the heat effects on the plasma and whatnot, was very nice. But there was, from the Wobbly Modelers, Josh Kinder is an amazing painter, and he's been his different models have been presented online in lots of different ways. It's like, holy cow, look at this. But he had a beautiful Death Guard. I mean, he's won before, but he's come to, local, came to several tournaments, and we've had to overlook him a few times. One, because he put in an unpainted model, he's trying to play the latest and greatest. But this time he brought out the cream of the crop, and we would have had to pass it by, man. But I mentioned that, man, if he just had a display board, he went out to his car and he grabbed this puppy. He forgot about that he had it in his car, and immediately it was like, okay, so now we got a contest here. And if overall we had, out of 5 judges, the Death Guard pulled it out. And again, the display board was a big part of it. Check out this hand painted mural on there. It's not a great close-up shot there, but you can see that beautiful art there. But the effects, man, the that gross, liquidy, grimy effect.
Man,
Yeah, a lot of slime effects. A lot of conversions too. Honestly, I think that's what took this one over the edge. At
are
least,
those?
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just curious. I can't tell what wings those are from on Mortarion, but that it almost looks like the creature caster model's wings, but maybe it's not.
Oh, we could totally believe that, man. That's one of their favorite things to do is kit bash stuff together. And it's usually like, God, that would be it's kind of like James's Berserkers we talked about last week. It like ends up, like a $500 unit of just a unit. And there's just kind of once you're obsessed and deep into the hobby and you have a lot of bits from a lot of different kits and you don't necessarily, things before you build them become out of style. They eventually get ate into another project or whatever. And I think they do that all the time. If I recall, they had an awesome Magnus at one time that was done with Archeon wings, and it just looked.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that. I almost bought an Archeon kit from Battlegrounds just for those wings.
Yep, yep.
That's a gorgeous conversion they did.
Yep. So a lot of killer things. Yeah, speaking of cool conversions, I got some of your images, James. I know that you're still maybe work in progress on this Demon Prince with this guitar. That guy is freaking cool, man.
Oh yeah, with like green tiger stripe kind of effect.
Yeah, did you 3D print the guitar? What's that from?
No, I have no idea what it's from. It's a commission from Kevin. It's to go with the Lord Discordant.
Did he provide it? Did he provide the guitar? Or?
No, it's a model that comes with that guitar and that Demon Prince look without the wings.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like some guar shit or something, but that's dope.
I have no idea, but it's like a shark tooth on the neck of the guitar, and it's very unique. So I'm going with like a leopard print for the body, with like a blue jean vest jacket style, with the zebra print electric guitar.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make it Steel Panther-y.
It looks sweet, dude. Nice work. Tell us a little bit. I don't really know what this is, James, but I thought it was super dope. What is this guy with the wings and like the spinal cord back and all that?
That is just a conversion for a sorcerer. That's
really?
Red Corsairs.
That's just a Red Corsair sorcerer for Ali.
Yeah, with wings. Yeah, jump head.
Dude, that thing is so cool looking.
Yeah. So, is there some special bits here? Is this a third party or what?
No, dude, that's all GW, dude.
Is it just a single kit?
No,
Yeah.
that's like 7 kits.
Okay. So walk us through that. Yeah.
You got like the Dark Angel or the Dark Eldar wing dudes. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Yeah, the Scorches. That's the wings for them.
Okay.
And then that's the Chosen Champion from the Dark Vengeance box set from 7th edition. So that's his power maul. The sword is like a Khorne AOS sword. The backpack is the champion. No, not the champion. The Lord from Dark Vengeance box set with like the jet tube parts cut out so that it fits the wings.
Okay.
And then it's a hero base from GW.
That's wild, man. Jeez.
So all GW. Just
see. Once you're in deep, like Ollie's been playing since I don't know, beyond 4th edition. Like he's been playing since Rogue Trader, I think.
Yeah.
And
he's been playing since 2nd RT.
And when you have been in the hobby that long, you start wanting that extra something, and you start mixing kits and shit, and you get these. I mean, I love that. Like, I don't even know what that is, and of course I know a Chaos or a Sorcerer for the Red Corsairs, okay. But when you see him like that, you're just like, wow, that's cooler looking than Gilliman, Super tight. What about this other like Phobos looking dude with the sword, the samurai sword?
Oh, that's just came out of the Shadow box set. He's a Phobos librarian.
Okay.
And yeah, that's like almost box art.
It's very cool. Very cool.
Just going in, painting those 2 Ultramarines. I guess he's hot right now, that model, actually.
Ah, that's what's up. Just to continue on this painting train for a minute there, let's take a look at the Scar brand you've been working on. I'm going to show the first ones you've been showing. I thought it was funny because on Warp Charger's Facebook, James just posted up the final version of his Scar brand. But funny enough, he actually, after we talked a little bit, because you painted this guy up. We are full-time artists, the creators. This is what we do, and so we're always trying to get, generate cash flow to pay the bills as best we can. And James will often take something that's tight, and after he's done using it or whatever, he'll paint it up and get it on eBay. So if you guys want to pick this thing up, definitely go jump on there now. It is available. But James changed out the base because if you Age of Sigmar, Scarbrand is incredibly fantastic, almost auto take, at least for me as a Corn player, where in 40K he's almost a never see. So we changed up the base there, James. So I was kind of surprised when you did that actually, but it makes good sense if you ask me.
When I said I had to destroy the base, it's because I like molded him into the base, and it was with like a drywall compound. So when I really thought about it, I was like, I bet I could break the drywall compound at like the joints where it's connected. So I just pulled on it really hard, and it just like left the little craters where like I glued. So then I was able to snip that off and make a new base.
All right, yeah. Well, I think it's worth it. It was funny because like if you see just the front end of the Scarbrand from the 40K version, it looks fine. Like until you see the back end with the Space Marine, you're like, ah, shit. Yeah, here's that base up close. Like that's totally fine in Sigmar land, but yeah, you put that Space Marine on there, and all of a sudden. But yeah, he rocks in Sigmar. And speaking of which, upcoming this weekend, we're hosting a Age of Sigmar tournament, and we do it in partnership with Oscar Lars Painting Studio. And I enjoy the partnership because it allows me to get to play every other month. We switch back and forth. He TO, I play, and back and forth. And I'm going to be running, as you can see, Scarbrand is right in the middle, a centerpiece as always. This list we presented on the channel before. It's a lot of fun. And it hits really hard. It's 70 Blood Reavers using the Gore Feast, I believe, Dark Feast War Battalion, and using the Gore Tide War Host. That gives you, you're just duplicating. The best part about the War Tide is that you can do an auto run of 6 and then charge. So those little guys right there, you already have modifications around you to give you +2 to your run and charge. So you get frickin' a auto run of 6 +2, so an auto run of 8 on top of your 6-inch move. So that's a 14-inch move with charge with a squad of 40, and that 40-man squad gets 160 attacks. So it's pretty gnarly. So looking forward to that, 3 units of 10 that are like speed bumps to that big 40-man squad that I just want to slingshot into something. And what's nuts is where Scarbrand, like a single weapon of his can drop out 8 mortal wounds. Hell, if he used the Blood Secretor there, he can drop out 16 mortal wounds in a single round of combat. And 16 wounds is really gross usually, and yeah, that takes out 16 guys in my 40-man blob. That still leaves fucking 24 dudes to swing 4 times. So, those big blobs can be pretty dang powerful. Blood Crusher, always fun. Bodies win games, man. That's a lot of something I wanted to discuss, and maybe we can kind of have a conversation here about this, guys. Let me get the old camera where it needs to be. So one thing that's been really nuts over this past week is I finally dived into, after like a year or so probably of really wanting to play, I jumped into Infinity, which is crazy because just last week I was getting into Warcry, right? Last week was all about Warcry, and I have not want to jump into Infinity because I knew it would be too overwhelming and like enveloping, and that it would be a lot to digest, and I think I would get addicted, and that's all I'd want to do.
Makes sense.
Right? But what's weird is after taking on 40K, Kill Team, and of course before 40K it was Warhammer Underworlds, that broke into Kill Team, and then it went to Sigmar, and now it went to Warcry, and so that's like 5 game systems right there, and then Age of Sigmar Champions was another game picked up. And all these games, once I started picking them all up and playing them and having different access to different people that enjoy different games, or even with other people that play multi-games, being able to jump between different systems out of sake of keeping things fresh and exciting and whatever you're inspired to do, it's a very fun thing to be able to play lots of different things, and it opens up perspective. And weirdly, playing other games, I feel like you get better at the ones that you originally started at with these. And I've just been just lately. I've been reflecting on, especially getting into Infinity. I've been seeing people that have never played any other type of game. So like the biggest thing that blew my mind when I first like had my first game of Infinity 2 days ago, I put out my tape measure, and they're like, whoa, 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 yeah, you can't pre-measure, and my mind was like, poof, what?
Oh, I mean, George, once again, cough, cough, old 40K.
Yeah, yeah. But man, that sure did boggle my hoggle. But then, for the the Infinity players where that's all they play, they don't know any different, And just like
Yep.
the whole muscle memory and the instinct to take that off. But then also seeing Magic players transition into or just pure non-traditional tabletop war gamers going to tabletop wargaming and seeing their perspective, and that having to have that huge, like I remember me getting into 40K, and it felt like it was just a huge hill to climb and so much infinite knowledge. But man, now that once you get a large digestion pool of that stuff and you start eating up more information of different games and tying them together and how they work, Infinity reminds me of that feeling of how I had when I first got into 40K, of how high the steep is to what information there is to digest. And it's interesting. I'm having like a personal challenge that usually most everybody you talk to when they get into Infinity, for the first 6 months, they think you're going to lose every game. And they say, expect to lose every game. So far, granted, I've had a buddy give me a very direct army, nothing too crazy to think about, and also played against other new players, and so I've had good games, I've had close games, I've won some games, whatever. But more so, I'm trying to pick up the game and be fluent with it faster than the average person, obviously, right? And I'm getting to see that the experience of playing all these other games and developing my skills amongst 5 different systems or whatever has made it even easier to pull the puzzle pieces of how this game operates and apply it to tactical play right away. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about is what I think is some of those fundamentals that come from like what is good tactics in tabletop wargaming. And often there's things we all could say here, like for instance, knowing the enemy, right? Or thinking ahead, not just thinking about killing the opponent, but the objective. Like that alone, if you just like constantly stay focused on what is the win mechanic, and not the what is the cool, fun, or let me go kill you mechanic. It seems like that's one of the most interesting things. Like when you look at Reddits and things, like as being a new player at Infinity, I'm reading the blogs and whatnot, and reading people's advice of like the same kind of common knowledge of how to build a list with intention, think about the different like blocks of what your list is trying to do. What are the strengths of your army versus others, and like where can you excel, being super powerful in one particular phase, all comers, you know what I mean?
Certainly, and I mean, actually, I've had the distinct position of a few people coming to me in the past, even in the 40K chat. Whether it's Mike or Hagen or a few people locally, they'll be like, what do you think of this list? And I think it was Ali that first proposed a question to me, coming from his, advanced experience in 40K hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the one that first asked me the question, how does your list win? What does it do to win? And I remember the first time that question was posed to me, it was a very puzzling and almost semi-aggravating question, because it was like, well, isn't it obvious, but I think across any game system, that's probably one of the most important questions.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's also that balance of like, so I think that's the interesting thing, is that people get into the games not necessarily with the intention to win, even though like that is why we, when you play a game, I think that obviously like as competitive people, we have fun with people that are trying hard to be successful at the game. And it's also extremely rewarding when you feel like you don't want to, it takes away some joy when the other side of the table is grunting or groaning, or it makes it like they feel like it's impossible. When someone tries to the ultimate end And that's how and that's the best parts is when they pull it out. You know, when you don't give up and you don't surrender and you just continue to try and stay focused on the win mechanic and not letting the sway of the battle because you lost some heavy losses or whatever make you give up.
Certainly.
You know? I love it when an opponent is constantly searching for a solution to get the most, even moral victory out of the situation. You know.
Absolutely. And it's interesting you bring that up as well because, like, I discuss kind of like the evolution of the 40K scene with a lot of the locals where I am currently in Knoxville, Tennessee. And almost all of the 40K players are coming from a card game scene, you know, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever the card game scene is.
Yeah.
And a lot of them express that the reason they got into 40K is because they had an extreme distaste and dislike of the hyper-competitive toxicity they saw in their card game scene.
Yeah, you know,
and
dude,
it's strange to me because
No,
I feel like
you're-
40K is pretty cutthroat. But then again, I've played with some of these Magic guys, granted years ago, and I even have a few anecdote stories that I think are pretty indicative.
Yeah, well, you're so right though, and I didn't even think to make that point together. There is like also just the whole thing with like last night. I actually was working my shift I do each Wednesday at Battlegrounds, and we were hosting a Canadian Highlander event, which is some sort of Magic format, and it was pretty interesting because I was running it. I was running it through BCP, right? And usually you got to run it through Word. And we were doing some experimentation with being able to automate their tournament process with Magic using Best Coast Pairing, so that was fun. But dude, 2 rounds, like people that were stoked to be there, people that were like talking about it all week, talked about it like for 2 weeks, like can't wait for this event this week, and 20 people showed up, and that was like everybody that showed up said there was about 12 more people than they expected. So 20 people, it's banging. We're gonna play Magic tonight. We've been excited to play, but then they lose the first 2 rounds and they dropped. People drop in droves at Magic events. And and I'm constantly talking to some of the shop guys that are, you know, long term in the Magic scene and just telling me about how like Magic players almost don't even enjoy playing. They just want to win and go to the next. Like they're totally fine. There was here's another mind blower. Is like it was round 4 and 2 different opponents walked up and said, "We just want to take a draw. We don't even want to play. We're just going to take the draw," because they just want to. And here's the other thing, because they just want to float into top 8, and then oftentimes it's high tradition that everyone just splits the top 8 pot, and they don't even compete for those final bits of glory.
That's so stupid.
And it's so like, and people's shit's not even. There's like no originality to the list. Like it's just a hands crossed. Like the math's already done. The stats are made. Like there's already a 100. Like you're playing a certain format of a already preconceived community version of the top meta list of at any given time for per set or for type. But it's interesting. These cats are super. The concept of win, lose, and fun is a very different win, lose, fun. You know. And it's like there's versions of Magic where people make theme decks and shit like that are like the dragons and you know whatever elves and merfolk and all that, and that's cool. And that's where you can see
a
kind
lot
of
of them are not good though, unfortunately.
Right. Those are usually when you're playing in a fun. It doesn't seem like the greatest game for those reasons, you know.
I mean, I used to play back several blocks ago, like many blocks ago at this point, and I can tell you, man. Like even one of the people who's a TO here for 40K, you know, he's like literally like he's like, I got out of Magic because I see all of my friends showing up to these events, not even having fun, and like I don't want to 10 years from now look back and just feel like I wasted my time investing hundreds of dollars in cards that I'm not even having fun playing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's sad.
Yeah,
Like,
it's whack too. Plus, there's that whole like gambling, like you feel kind of dirty when you open the random pack and it doesn't have anything worthwhile, and you're like chasing that dragon. It is kind of it's a little dirty, right?
It's kind of like the cell phone like microtransaction kind of game. It's like playing on like psychology to like fucking bleed people money. Like it's. I mean, if you like Magic, good for you. I hope you enjoy it. You know, but like,
they're gonna say they like it, but they're also gonna say they hate themselves for it. You know.
I mean, I agree, and I mean, like, I think for me, one of the most indicative examples, and this is an anecdote. When I was younger, you know, I briefly got into the Yu-Gi-Oh card game when it was brand new, as a distraction from Magic. And I was at our friend's Dragonfire Gaming in Lynchburg one time playing 40K, and my opponent bailed on me. And I see a bunch of people playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I'm like, I'll sit down and play with you guys if you guys have a deck that I can use. This guy who's clearly super, super competitive sits me down. He tells me this is my B tier deck. Like, I'm going to use my good deck to show you what I can do. He gives me his crappier of the two decks to play against someone who literally has not played in like 4 expansions of the game and beats me in like 2 turns. And I'm just like, dude, like, what were you trying to prove?
Yeah.
Like, that I don't like this card game? Like, what did you get from that? Like,
yeah, man.
Thanks for telling me I'm never going to sit down and play this card game again.
So what brings that, so what that point comes to me is that but mainly my mind is going back to Infinity, and that's where like a lot of this retrospection has been happening lately, because I've been experiencing it all over again as far as what is this game as far as win lose fun, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, very rewarding on how balanced it is, and this is another we hadn't hit on yet, is how it's an interesting concept of how the reflection of the quality of the game can be seen on the marketing strategies of the company, right? So like the way we're talking about that diggy, like you're trying to get those good cards, or the market, the black, like that market that's you're constantly watching values of cards, and cards are only as cool as their value, and it doesn't matter about the art or the theme or anything like that. Same thing with GW, where they put out rules that go to the latest releases of the models, and they make old models they don't care about or they're not going to want to produce, and they make their rules less, or who knows how much they stir the pot on how good the rules are relative to sales. But it seems like if we just talk about Space Marines, we can see that they drive sales by their rules.
I'm going to say mostly agree on that.
Right. Oh, so you like what would you got a like an you're not all the way in on that. You think they're also about the integrity of the game?
I think it's less about the integrity of the game, but I think the idea that only the new models get the hottest rules is just incorrect.
Oh, sure.
I think there's plenty of counterexamples. I want to say, like, in my head, the split is something like 70-30, so it's obviously still blatantly favoring new releases.
Oh, yeah, they want to resurge. They want to resurge the purchases on other things, too, right?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And I think most games in that context, in terms of releases, most game developers come off as kind of copying similar models. So I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on Infinity and how they do it differently.
Right. So yeah, it totally is the model of a ton of things. And it's like you can see, like, there's a lot of those iOS games and stuff now that you get on your phone and you kind of gauge it. There's like that feel out process. Like, how much are you trying to just grind the shit out of me and not even make it a fun game in the end? Like, you're going to get me like 10 hours in, and then the rest of it's going to suck and I'm going to regret it. So it's in all platforms, digital, tabletop, board games with expansions, etc. But the and just look at like Warhammer Underworlds. Did you guys even see the thing where they're going to make previous seasons of Warhammer Underworld just obsolete? Did you see that?
Yep. It's no longer. I actually was just listening to that in another podcast, and it was literally like, oh, Shadespire isn't even a thing anymore.
Yeah, like I got the entire first season set, and I was like, yes, I'm going to play this game. I got it all. And then, like, the moment the next release came, you could already see that, like, oh fuck, they're gonna make it. And then they came out. The killing blow is they came out with a ban list. They came out with a restriction ban list, and certain cards and certain amounts of cards got banned or restricted. And then, like, basically the old versions of shit were just basically not even functional, and you'd have to buy into more. And now they're going even further, but it's eliminated. So wild. What's crazy about Infinity is that it's all free. Like, all the rules are free. And like, whenever they even put out rules for new models that aren't even out yet beforehand, so you can use it right away and see if you even want it. And like, they give you, like, they're very lenient with proxies. All you have to do is have your base match. They, rule of cool is, do your best to get your, but like, they're like, go for it. If you just like yeah.
I'm curious, did you ever check out like Warma Hordes?
No, I never played Warma Hordes or what is the other one? Malifaux, which I don't think I'll ever will, and seem to be quite the dying game. But
certainly. I was just curious because I know that Warma Hordes did like the online rule thing.
Yeah.
As well.
They're also very known for being a very balanced game. Well, I mean, from what I've picked up, it seems like people thought it was very tactical and balanced, and very crunchy.
I mean, I observed it in Lynchburg. Like, people got really fed up in 7th edition with how 40K was evolving, and there was a while where 40K almost died out completely in favor of Warma Hordes. Then I watched 40K Club Warma Hordes back over the head. And
Oh
Warma
yeah,
Hordes is
right.
area.
Well, I think that was the thing, is that War Machine, Warma Horde's kind of like initial like coming onto the market was that, like, hey, you're not satisfied with like the wonkiness or lack thereof of 40K and other tabletop games. Here's a competitive tournament style game, and that's where unfortunately a lot of the terrain is 2D. And you have to just stand on like images of terrain to keep everything as perfect as possible, because every little millimeter counts in that one. But man, the realism that exists within the thematics, I was blown away today just at the games, just like how much like your mind crunches and how much it feels like a real action video game. Because for every action you do, it's a reaction. It's not just like I go, you go. It's like, so every model has within a single activation has 2 things that it can do. It can like move and shoot, or move and do whatever the fuck, right? But every one of those 2 sets of actions you're going to do can give a reaction to your opponent. It's like an automatic reaction opportunity, ARO. And so like you're like, I move, and they're like, cool, this guy can see you and that guy can see you, and they can at any point during that move be able to affect you if they have their line of fire to the dude. And like they literally, like every single model has a 180-degree perspective. So, well, there's probably other models that have like 360s and whatnot, but they, you actually have markers on your bases showing the 180-degree mark, and they have rules built in for like when things are behind you and being snuck up on. And like you can, if you have sneak and ambush, like you can sneak up behind dudes and like slay them with the knife, and people don't turn around because they don't hear you. There's literally like auditory awareness. You can lay down and belly crawl in this game. There's smoke grenades, and like you're throwing smoke templates out and like hiding, like sending guys through smoke and stuff so they can't see you. There's hidden deployment where, like, dude, like you would love my guys, Chris. I think you mentioned it. They're like the Gene Stealer code almost. The Arianda. They're the Russian werewolf people, basically. And
it's like if Gene Stealer calls from Spaceballs had a baby.
That pretty much, dude, because they all get like blip markers. So I'll put some up. I'm gonna put some up on the screen right now. So these are the American ones there. Here's some that I got from the Russian ones. These guys are kind of like aberrants, if you would. The dog warrior here, he starts out as the human model on the table, and then whenever he gets shot, he turns into the werewolf next to him. It's pretty sick. So like in this game, there's hidden deployment, and then there's like camouflage. And like in my case, I'm like a low tech, so I'm like this hidden deploy. I'm just regular camouflage, and you put tokens out like blip markers to represent all these models. So everything that has this ability, you put out these individual tokens. And some guys even have decoy, and you'll put out 2 tokens to represent the one model, and they won't know which one's actually your guy. And also in this game, unlike you have like a warlord or a lieutenant, but that information's secret. There's a lot of secret information in this one that your opponent doesn't know, and you actually hand your opponent a list that only shows the information they're allowed to know, and that doesn't show the points values of the models, and it doesn't show like if I have all these guys in camo or these blip markers, then when I hand them my sheet, they don't know any of that. They only see the models that are not in these blips.
So
yeah.
I do have consequently a question, because this is something that I've kind of already had on the tip of my tongue. What is the scale of size of this game? Because my intuition tells me with all of these AROs and like more real-time kind of mechanic responses, it has to be a slower game unless it's a smaller game.
You play on a 4x4 mat with 25 millimeter scale.
But I mean also like the number of models wise.
Number of models is in the number of about 10 to 20.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I mean, because I think just to tie it back to 40K a little bit, I think that's kind of one of the things we've seen sacrificed over the years with 40K is we've seen these levels of like facings and armor values on different sides and stuff like that. And 40K specifically as a game system has favored simplifying rules over additions in order to make the points creep and inflation higher and higher. Because I mean, 40K compared to even when I started is almost doubled in size and number of models and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, I'd say that right now in my noob levels, I'm in like the hour and a half, 2 hour mark. But I think this game can be definitely played very quickly, under an hour, if you're very proficient. That would be very experienced players. Until, I mean, like, you know, there's until you know the rules very deeply ingrained, then you're going to be looking shit up. Luckily, there's been a lot of guidance in these games that we've had so far. So I've played like 4 games kind of now. And there's always like every question I could ask is the answers right there.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been pretty cool. So going quicker and quicker, and I'm hoping by next week I would love to film a game actually.
Do it.
I cannot wait to feature it on the channel and show it better. There's not very good presentation of the content right now. I'd say guerrilla tactics with the I think that's what I'm trying to say. Guerrilla warfare. Those guys are cool. With God, I can't remember his name right now. Sleepy. I stayed up till.
I will say.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like you featuring that kind of content, I like it. I mean, even so, I haven't dipped my toes into Warcry as of yet, but I feel like I've learned a lot of the mechanics of Warcry already just watching you play. Like the whole not saves being taken, critical damage,
Yeah.
Some of the ranges and stuff like that. Like I feel like if I sit down and actually try to learn Warcry now, as a result of watching the stream, I'm actually going to be able to see. Or pick it up much faster.
Totally. Oh man, that's like somebody in the shop today was just grabbing some models, and they asked me if they should get 2 boxes of the models or should they get the models and the book. And the game is so easy to digest and know how to play that once you have your faction cards, you just play a few games and you're going to know how to play this game. You do not even almost need the book besides the missions themselves, maybe, or whatever. Like there's, they try to put something in there that you're going to want, but with a simple picture, you need like pages, like 2 pages, whatever, So yeah, the game is very easy to pick up and go, and that's a good reminder. On Saturday we had the Highlander tournament, but on Sunday we had our first Warcry event, and you can see the tournament. It's right there on our channel. We did 3 rounds. I played in the first and the final round because ended up taking home first place and got sweet medals from GW. Check it out, super pretty. It was really fun. The games were pretty whack, guys. I pulled some shenanigans in that event. This was my list using the new Monsters and Mercenaries expansion, kind of like Kill Team Elites. They came out with Monsters and Mercenaries for Warcry, giving you kind of characters that you could add only 1 to your warband. This is a 1,000-point Corvus Cabal list with a Gaunt Summoner on a disc. I ran 2 of the Shrike Talons and 2 of the Cabalists with Familiars, and one of those is gray that James is going to get ready to get set for me, and also with the Big Bird Shrike Talon there. The leader.
Nice.
Yeah, and then a little pissant. So it's basically 3 pawns that give you extra activations, and then your big warriors there. And it's important to have some pawns to be able to stall out while your opponent tries, hopefully makes mistakes or gets into position for you to counterattack. It's a very movement-oriented game. But a lot of fun, and it was silly, man. Quick holler about this second game against my buddy Nick. Nick's a sweetheart, awesome dude, super cool, and he was hungry to win. He wanted a medal. We were all wanting medals because this is the first time we got these Warcry medals from GW, and so we're all talking shit and wanting it. I won my first game pretty brutally, man. The first game was a 15-minute stream, and it was about killing half their army. So you kill half their army, you win. I killed half his army and lost not a single model by turn 2. And so that was over in 15 minutes. That was gross. But the second game, it was a first turn victory because of hilariousness. So in Warcry, it makes you put a lot of the time your warband off the board, right? And it forces you to put you already have to split your army into thirds, where you have a dagger, a shield, and a hammer. And you orient your list into those 3 things, and that's preset. You don't get to choose that per the mission. And then when you roll up on this random mission, you have to divide your army as it says, and I'll often say that turn 2 or even turn 3, which are often only 3-turn rounds, are to put your second and third part of your army out on the board. So in this case, round 1, we both had 3 models on the table out of our like 7 to 9 models, and they're all the rest are on turn 2 come in. And the objective of the mission was, if you controlled we each place one objective down, and if you control both of those objectives, you win the game. And at the end of a battle round, hold both, you win. All right. So we both deploy by our objective, but on the rooftops. And so I use my little pawn, the guys that I have. I'm like, I had the Gaunt Summoner, and I had 2 of those little pawn guys. And I'm like, I wait with this pawn guy, go. And he like does a shuffle around to get in position for next turn. I'm like, okay, great. And so he just kind of moves around the board away from his objective, setting up for later. All right, cool. I wait with this guy. He again moves around the board a little bit, setting up for later, getting that counter charge. He has only 1 more model to move. I'm like, okay, I take this weighted guy and I move towards the middle a little bit just to try to bait him that I'm not thinking about objectives either. And then he takes his final guy and he moves to this spot and he waits with his final guy. I'm like, okay, cool. Take my last little pawn and I'm waiting here with my Gaunt Summoner this whole time and I move over to my objective. He has 1 more action. It's his turn. And I'm like, all right, what do you do? And it seems like I'm being such a tryhard because I'm staring at his model so intensely. And I keep asking him, like, are you sure? Is that what you're doing? Because he just kept not moving on the objective. And I knew if he didn't move on that objective turn 1, my Gaunt Summoner could double move 20 inches to his objective and just win right on turn 1. And he took his final move as like, yeah, I'm just going to stand here and I guess I'll just shoot my gun in the air doing nothing. I'm like, okay, are you sure? Okay, turn
Good
1,
game.
I win! And everybody's like setting up, and I'm like, yeah!
Way to be a scrub.
Oh, he's my good friend, but it was so funny.
George, this is why people don't play games with you.
Oh, it was silly. It was silly. But so you didn't get to see that on stream. There was an actual good game on stream for round 2.
To the victory go the spoils.
If you go to the matches though and watch round 3, that was for and that was a wild ride. In the Highlander tournament, dude, Chris, you'd probably mop it. You know what, Chris? I have on stream, and I would love for you to watch it because it was a great game. I went against like over 100 models with a Space Wolf list close to this. So it's up right now with 14 Wolfen, Murderfang, Bjorn, a Rapier Carrier, Relic Leviathan, 3 Wolf Lords with jump packs, and 1 Wolfguard Battle Leader with a jump pack. That's it. It's like, look, can you see how small that is?
Yep.
It's like nothing, dude. But it actually, with the new Space Marine rules, I don't know if it's just the +1 attack. It's doing something, man. Like, I've been hurting. I've been winning games with that thing, and it's fun. I beat like 120 Gene Stealers. It was an amazing game. He failed some critical charges. Things happened. But I got him, dude.
Nice.
I should have lost, is what I'm saying.
But you didn't, man. You didn't.
I felt like that shit was over. Like, just seeing all those models, but maybe it was, it was a pilot, maybe. You're a good guy.
I mean, that's actually, so stylistically, that's kind of part of the reason that I don't play the typical Tyranid list in terms of the Kraken Slingshot is because one little thing goes wrong and you start picking up entire squads of Gene Stealers, and I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Meanwhile, shooty Tyranids, I mean, I think, and that's, speaking to the current condition of 8, it's definitely much safer to play a shooty game.
Yeah, it's so much more fun for combat, though.
I agree.
Which, James, it makes me think about this new creature caster combat monster you had sent me a picture of. You think you want to get that in your life? It looks pretty amazing.
It's not a combat monster, dude. It's a Zinch Lord of Change, bro.
It looks more Slanesh to me. I don't know. I see the Zinch in the middle. Yeah.
It is hardcore Zinch.
All those eyes, yeah.
Bro.
Okay.
It's got feathers all over it, bro. And that's like a giant gold throne she's on.
I'm seeing it now. But still, it could go fight something. That better go fight something. It looks like some fighter.
Nah, it looks like a spell caster. I just think it's super badass, and I had to give him that respect.
It is pretty sweet, dude. So that's coming out by Creature Caster?
Yes.
That's hotness, man. Speaking on new hotness, I think I know James and I, to some extent, wanted to touch on some of the new Marine stuff.
How about this Raven Guard Strike from the Shadows stratagem? I know James was upset about this thing.
Well, it's not that I'm upset about it. It's just Chaos Space Marines Alpha Legion has forward operative, which is the exact same thing, but it's been FAQ'd and still in the FAQ that it doesn't get this whole redeploy anywhere on the battlefield 9 inches away. It's all, oh, you get to move 9 inches. Oh, like, that's dumb. This is how it should be, and this is how it needs to be. Yet Raven Guard has it. Well, Chaos Space Marines are nerfed, and we don't get no cool doctrines. Like I don't understand that. I'm hoping tomorrow when the giant FAQ drops or Monday that Un gets FAQ'd because Alpha Legion Berserkers are awesome.
So, speaking on that one, there's another borrowed stratagem from the Raven Guard, and it's something about redeploying something into the gloom. And it's literally similar to your situation. It's a copy pasted Gene Stealer Cult stratagem. And what it does, Return to the Shadows, I think, is what the stratagem is for Gene Stealer Cult. But you take a unit that is not within 6 of an enemy and throw it back in reserves, and it comes back the next turn. And whereas the drop pods have been FAQ'd or ruled that they can't come in after turn 3, even at the Nova, they specifically said the Gene Stealer Cult stratagem still works. Like you could throw a unit into reserves turn 4 and immediately come back turn 5. But you can't come back turn 6 because it's literally like it says the next turn. Raven Guard have both of these stratagems. They are bragging an extremely brutal alpha strike force.
What the hell, man? So like, it's I think like this spot they better be quick to the punch on giving like other folks that like share these same kind of rules, but now Space Marines do it better. That's the weird feeling. Like I don't mind them having new shit. It's just like when they take away some of the unique value of the other armies that was what they did, and is nerfed on top of that, like Alpha Legion in this case. That hurts.
Yeah, and I mean, like looking at Agents of Vect and the planned generations of the making, the two flavors of Agents of Vect. Right now, what we're seeing with this new Marine Codex, I see so many players say, "Oh man, look at this new hotness out of this Marine book," and I can point to you at any other faction and be like, "No, they stole this from this faction. They stole this from this faction." The multiple warlords thing—that's a Gene Stealer cult thing. Like all of this is just copy pasted. Right now, we're seeing salamanders getting teased with the +1 to wound stratagem. It's just veterans of the Long War.
Or blood, and then that's Blood Angel's innate ability too. Yeah.
Yep, and also the Raven Guard have basically the same stratagem. What is it on Wings of Fire from Blood Angels? The crazy charge one.
They also had +6, the 6-inch heroic intervene, just like the Space Wolves.
They also have to jump now.
Yep.
Come on.
What we're seeing right now is that was kind of one of the things that I appreciated early 8th edition is that everything seemed to have a very distinct feeling of its own flavor.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of gravitating right now towards back towards the more classic incarnation of 40K, and maybe that's unpopular to say, but it almost feels like the first 2 years of 8th edition have been a playtest. Games Workshop has said, all right, all of these stratagems, what are the good ones? Ultramarines have Overwatch on 5s. It's basically copying, Tau Overwatch.
Yeah.
We're just seeing all of these stratagems reflect into Games Workshop saying, what does the competitive scene say is good? Because we can't figure it out ourselves. And let's just keep recycling this among different factions. I think eventually what we're going to see is shoot again and fight again are probably going to become universal stratagems. Maybe I'm wrong there.
I can see that. Yeah.
I don't know though. Just speculation.
They already are in a lot of. I mean, like usually, like what's the good stratagem in each book is usually the fight again, shoot again. You got Bad Moons for orcs. You got the Slanesh one for chaos.
That's kind of what made Tyranids unique. Is they were one of the few armies that had both.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, you're totally right. These are, and that's what happened in 7th was where you had the you had the Decurion, and it was like unique and amazing. There was like nothing like it, and then everybody started getting formations and then detachments, and then detachments, and then like there was the whole like powers where there was a lot of universal special rules. A lot of people shared the exact same psychic powers, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I hope that it's only an indication that other things are going to follow, and I hope they don't kind of have us. I just don't want to sit for months on end in this Space Marine iron. All you hear is about every Space Marine. It's already like Tau and Marines both need to get their shit kicked in. Just saying. Down,
Yeah.
down with both those armies.
I mean, if you look, when Knights were all the rage, with the Castell and Imperial Soup was the top army. This past year, it's been Chaos Soup, and
Hey,
now I think we're going to go back.
Don't be pointing any fingers though, Chris.
It's true, and most recently it's been Tau. I'm not saying it's Soup, but I mean it's pretty obvious that there needs to be things that shake up the meta.
Chaos needs to be on top, is all I'm saying. That Tyranids count.
Get good.
They're in there too. Tyranids can be on top too, man. We like. I like when I think of who. It's funny enough. Like I guess it's short sighted, but like when I think of what's been some of the 2019's like most powerful armies. Sure, like Chaos has been strong and everything, and there's like good Chaos. But when I think of like winning tournaments and stuff, it feels more like it's usually freaking. I hope my internet's not going crazy. It feels like it's usually Tau or Marines. It's the Custodes, and it's all those other guys. Chaos needs to be on top much more. Is I think all I'm trying to say.
I think I'm going to disagree based off the Jim Vassal style list. I mean, when he took top the way he did, you've seen a lot of copycats. You've seen a lot of different flavors of that.
Yeah.
Hey, and what has he won since? And there has been no FAQ since then.
I agree. I agree.
So Chaos is about to get hit with the FAQ bat, and
you Marines are about to take the top slot for a short while at least.
Oh, dude, it's about to be nasty.
Yeah. No, I mean, even I've been looking at, I've been consuming a lot of the content secondhand through other podcasts and stuff like that. About some of the combos with Iron Hands and Raven Guard, and there's just so much. Chicken Butt's having some quality issues. He's saying in the comments.
Well, our very own Kevin Leonard just won an RTT, and he played Iron Hands and demolished every game. Even had a mirror match and won that one.
Yeah, I've seen all of the Tyranid groups on Facebook, dude. It's nothing but crocodile tears. Like literally, like I played against new Raven Guard, I played against new Iron Hands. I got tabled by turn 3. I got tabled by turn. I'm like, I mean, you can't bring a sub-optimized list against some of these new books because the creep is real, and Iron Hands is probably one of the most plug and play new hotness armies there are.
It's so easy and thanks, you got an army.
And I don't mean to say like it's bad for the game so long as we start seeing these rapid fire releases the way I hope we're about to get them.
Me too.
But
what's some good counter tactics to these new Iron Warriors?
By Iron Warriors?
Huh?
Well, no, it's really like if you want to beat Ultramarines, you should play White Scars. You want to beat Iron Warriors, you should play Raven Guard.
Yep.
Yeah.
They kind of have more rock paper scissors balance. Like you're going to have more unfavorable matchups based off different factions. And when you get into them preserving the mono faction as a good heads up sort of balance, I think that's kind of healthy because I mean you don't get the soup. Like like you as a White Scars player has to be prepared to handle these hard matchups. You as an Ultramarines player, if you're a pure Ultramarines, have to be ready to handle your bad matchup in a tournament or a major, and that's where the skill of the better player will be decided. But obviously, everyone who's not playing New Marine kind of scratching their head right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm bringing Space Wolves. I'm bringing Thunderhammers. and I'm just gonna go for it.
And you just basically said you're bringing new Marines.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Because at least they're not those three though. Because those what about do you two have any plans you've been thinking about of things you're gonna change your list at all, or kind of run the same thing? I know James, you got a whole new creation using
Oh,
new
dude.
Marines too.
Well, I'm now bringing out the Berserkers because Berserkers got +2 attacks instead of just +1 attack. So that's kind of a big deal. And then, man, I have to give a shout out to Horton down south towards Chris's because this
Yeah.
dude messaged me with a list that I inspired him to make. And I was like, how did I not think of this list? And then I put my spin on it. And I'm basically running 30 Berserkers, but all 5-man's opening up double battalion. And because they get extra 2 attacks apiece, you got a power fist in each unit. I mean, it just opens up this smashy smash from just little bitty units. Granted, they're really like easy to kill, but because they're small, they're easy to hide. Got power armor. And then I still got my Lord Discordant, still got my Catan in the mix. Like, it's just so much. And my Demon Prince with an axe. I'm so excited. Like, I love power armor. Like, give me power armor. More new Marines, more targets for me to kill.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that sounds sweet. You anything for you on your end, Chris? You've been thinking about switching up the way you're building your list to deal with some of this new Marine shenanigans, or?
I am kind of. I mean, I'm still working on my stretch goals for how I'm building Gene Stealer Cult. I've got some other project stuff I'm doing. I actually even got some more Slanesh models recently
Nice.
to help flesh out that force. And you know, like the reality is I am still kind of banking that Tyrannus get an update in November.
Mm.
I know that's a dark place to be, but like at the same time, like I like my shooting it list. Like I have fun playing it. You know, I'll switch out a component here or there, but especially since in my current area I'm playing more at the 1250 bracket instead. It's fun. I'm still having a good time with my Tyranids,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I am not going against. I haven't fought any of these new factions yet, but I've been finding every time I play 40K, I'm having a good ass time. You know, so I mean that's all that really matters. But the I don't know if I don't see anything different that I would do currently with what I currently am gonna run. I'm just gonna run what I run. But if I was trying to kick some ass with my chaos stuff, I still think my Nova list is kind of my go-to of the horde. Yeah, that's nothing's changed yet. Until we got this FAQ, we're still kind of sitting in the same boat.
Yeah, and that FAQ should be
That's a big
dropping
thing.
tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah.
And the thing about this FAQ is what I've heard from numerous accounts that are in touch with the playtesters is beta rule that's going to be introduced is only 3 flyers.
Yeah.
Only 3 flyers, doesn't matter what kind. And then play bears are going to get nerfed, bro.
Squad 20.
Okay.
They're getting nerfed, and the whole plague bear screen's no longer being a thing.
Any speculation? Is it going to be by point cost? Is it going to be?
Oh, I heard they get neutered in 2 different ways, and I'm not sure what 2 different ways. That's all I heard.
Oh, very interesting. All right, back to Nurglings.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Poxwalkers need something to make them compete with Plague Bearers. I think, and what I would love to see, and this, I still don't think this is a fix. This is just me, like, vaingloriously speculating. I would love to see Plague Bearers cap out at 20 and Poxwalkers squads get bumped up to 30. That would provide something, but at the same time,
I would have thought they were already at 30 for Poxwalkers. They're not.
are they at 30? I think they're still 20. I could be wrong.
No, they're 20s.
Oh wow, yeah, that's silly. Hell, I'd
Yeah,
say take it to 40. Fuck it.
I'd be fine with that. I mean, especially because I mean they're not worth their points right now. Plague Bears are just superior in every single way.
Yeah.
I mean, paying like 1 more point to model to get an influence save and the feel no pain, it's tragic.
And toughest 4.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would like to see in perfect world. I think Poxwalker should be squads of 30 and lose and go down a point, but I don't think that we're going to see those kinds of point changes until chapter approved. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, that'd be pretty saucy. 5-point box walkers, that's worth considering. Yeah. So any other news about what we might get out of this FAQ? He's 3 flyers, and we think Plague Bear's getting hit. Any other thoughts?
I think a lot of rules just are going to get clarified. I mean, like how FAQ should be.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things that people are abusing.
Are they going to make Soul Grinders great again, or we're going to get Soul Grinders being great? They're going to make Soul Grinders
They're fantastic.
When I'm speculating, unfortunately, I almost think that them nerfing the flyers is going to be a bad move because of the new Marines. I kind of think that the flyer builds would have been a good way to keep the new Marines in line, and maybe I'm wrong.
You're wrong, bro. They would just abuse it themselves, man, because now their planes get the doctrines.
You're right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, I mean, somebody actually mentioned like running like 2 Fire Raptors could be fine.
Oh, dude, Fire Raptors are back, dude. They're back in full force.
They're really good. They've got a lot of guns.
Uh-oh. I haven't even conceived such pain.
Yeah, no, it's dangerous, man.
We'll fight in the shade. Oh, man.
Well, there will be a lot of shadiness.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm terrified.
I'm telling you, new Marines are going to be really odd to come up to the table to play because they're going to be so elite yet so smelly.
Yeah, and that's how they should be. But it's that tightrope to walk.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Oh man, fear is in my mind. Well, y'all, this has been an hour in. Is there anything particular that we want to rant and rave about here? I know my mind is pretty zonked out.
Yeah, man.
George, find me the FAQ. I want to see it now.
That's fair. I'll do my best.
Woo woo.
He'll do his best.
But yeah, you guys all good? We have a good time?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Well, guys, we'll be back next week as always. And then this weekend, if you want to tune in on Saturday, we will be doing our Age of Sigmar event. And then this Sunday, we'll be doing our second Sunday challenge, a new series we're getting started where people challenge me of a game of their choice. Infinity is now being added to that. Warcry Infinity. Age of Sigmar,
anyone who's
40K.
Really good at Infinity, go out there and wreck George. Help him learn.
There's some really good wreckers. I should get wrecked pretty easy. No worries. But yes, come wreck. Sunday challenge, hit me up. But we'll be you can tune in each Sunday and you can see that going down. And next week, hopefully, we'll be starting to put Infinity into the reg and more Warcry 40K Kill Team Age of Sigmar content. But yeah, everybody, appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. James, Chris, awesome as always. And guys, we'll catch you next time. Keep taking fun seriously.